Support comes from the Missouri Forest Products Association, committed to conservation and careful management of the state's forests to make them more resilient and better habitats for wildlife. ChooseWood.com.
Welcome to St. Louis on the Air. I'm Rachel Lippmann. The United States has advanced to the quarterfinals of the 2019 FIFA Women's World Cup after a 2-1 victory earlier this week against Spain. They'll play the host nation of France on Friday. The game is set to be the most expensive to attend Women's World Cup game ever. Here to discuss the World Cup and the state of women's soccer in St. Louis and elsewhere is Lori Chalupny-Lawson. She is a former U.S. women's national team member who competed in the 2007 and 2015 Women's World Cup. She is a St. Louis native, the head coach of the Maryville University women's soccer team, and is also the assistant club director of the newly formed all-girls soccer club Fire and Ice Soccer Academy. That is quite a resume. Also joining us in studio is Olivia Silverman. She is the assistant coach of the St. Louis Lions women's team. She was a goalkeeper at St. Louis University and also played on 3 U.S. national youth teams. Lori and Olivia, thank you both for joining us today.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much.
So, Lori, you played in 2 Women's World Cups in 2007 and 2015. What is that stage like?
Oh, it's unbelievable. I mean, that's, when you grew up as a young kid and playing soccer for your club teams here in St. Louis, but the World Cup is the biggest stage. That is what you aim for. That's what you dream about. So it was, to say a dream come true seems cliche, but that's truly what it's like.
One of the former U.S. women's national players posted a video of the American Outlaws in France greeting the team as they enter the stadium. And what is that pageantry? Tell me a little bit more about the pageantry that is the World Cup stage.
Yeah, the World Cup that I was in 2015 was in Canada, and so it felt like a home match. Every game felt like a home game, and we had a huge American contingency that came with us day in and day out. But even over in France, I'm hearing that the U.S. games are a hard ticket to come by because so many Americans have traveled over to follow the team, and it's just the excitement around the games. There's drums, there's chants, there's hand claps. There's it's a lot of fun, a lot of noise, and a lot of excitement.
And they're coordinated too. It's not they're all doing it at the same time.
Oh yeah, they practice this. I mean, it's awesome.
How did it change between 2007 and 2015?
Well, it changed a lot. I think the boom of social media, had a huge impact on it. In 2007, we played largely unnoticed. We played in China, so a little further away,
and also a little bit different in terms of access to the country, access to information.
Exactly. Yeah. But by the time 2015 rolled around, it was there were commercials leading up to the games. There was all kinds of just behind the scenes media things that we did as a team, and it was quite a bit different.
Do you wish you were out there right now when the World Cup rolls around? Do you wish you're out there on the field?
Truthfully, I am so happy to be watching from my couch. I don't have to run anymore. I can just drink my coffee and watch soccer and enjoy it. And but I'm really enjoying watching this team, and they're just on fire right now.
I want to get your perspective, both as soccer coaches and soccer players, about this 2019 U.S. women's national team. Tell me a little bit about them. What are their strengths? What are their styles? Where would you rank them in terms of national teams? Olivia, I'll start with you.
I mean, I think they've looked very strong. I know they have a lot of young presence now, which I think has brought up that energy level a bit, but also having that legacy in with some of the older players, bringing in that experience. They've really found a good combination of both, I feel like. I think the midfield this year especially has been strong, being able to move the ball in and out, and they've been great. I mean, the Rose Lavelle's, the Sam Mewis's, Lindsey Horan's, being able to just keep the ball for us and make things happen has been, I think, very special and a big new strong point for us. I think they keep building off of every game, and whether they have a lull, they end up becoming even better and better off of every single minute that they play. And it's been something really cool to watch, just the growth and seeing these young players have a chance and being able to coach players who hopefully can have that chance eventually. So,
and Lori, what about for you? As you're watching this, what's your soccer coach eye looking at and grabbing onto?
Well, I think our front line is unstoppable with Alex Morgan, Tobin Heath, and Megan Rapinoe. I don't think anybody in the world can stop them when they're clicking the way that they are. Truthfully, I think our back line is our weakness, and that's what's going to, I think, be the difference maker in whether we win the World Cup or not is if our backline can hold off the opposition.
Looking ahead to Friday's game against France, what would you say both teams need to do to win? What are the 3 keys for you guys going into this game?
I mean, a big key for me is energy. I mean, France, it's their hometown. They have their entire country behind them, and for us to be able to bring that energy and competitiveness while also keeping that steady head and being able to focus on what's in front of us. And that's a semifinal game in the World Cup. Every game at this point is, every minute of every game is huge. So being able to stay focused, play their game, relax, but still bring that bite and energy because we know France is going to bring it. It's their, like I said, their hometown. They want it, and we have to show that we want it just as much.
What are your 3 keys, Lori?
I think just kind of monitoring the emotions going into the game, of course. I think set pieces are going to be huge, so corner kicks, free kicks, things like that. That's over half of the goals, I think, of the World Cup so far have been scored on set pieces, so we've got to win that battle. And finally shutting down their front line. They've got 3 attackers that are pretty tough as well, so our back line is going to have to really be keyed in on them.
If you have something that you've always been curious about with women's soccer, the Women's World Cup, or the U.S. women's national teams, we're inviting you to ask Lori Chalupny and Olivia Silverman these questions. You can give us a call at 314-382-8255. That's 382-TALK. Or you can send us a tweet to @STLOnAir, or shoot us an email at talk@stlpublicradio.org. There was a lot made after the United States just absolutely clobbered Thailand. I think final was 13-0. There, about both the score and about the celebrations after those goals. What were your reactions to sort of both of those reactions?
For me personally, it's a World Cup, and the girls were excited to score, and I can't blame them. I mean, like we were talking about before, this is the biggest stage. This is everything you've ever dreamed about. So I think it's hard to tell the team, yeah, you can be excited, but don't be too excited. I think that's a tough line. So I don't have problems with their celebrations. Were they maybe a little bit excessive? Sure, but in hindsight, you can go back and judge people for anything. So I don't have any problem with it. I think. This is the World Cup. There's no hurt time for, to worry about people's feelings.
And Olivia, how about for you?
I totally agree. I mean, like Lori said, like you're in the World Cup, you dream of this as a kid, and just seeing your dreams finally coming true and scoring that first goal and that third goal and just being able to celebrate that with the players that you've grown so much with and have seen your growth. And I mean, that's just something that's indescribable. Yeah, like Lori said, like you're going to hear the chatter about it, but at the end of the day, you're at the top tier of women's soccer and you score a goal. That's pretty unbelievable. We're celebrating.
And how about the score? 13-0 is a American football score to a lot of people. Were they just pouring it on, or did it actually matter to put up that many goals that early in the World Cup?
Well, I think you can have a little bit of gripe about the celebrations. I don't think you can have a gripe at all about the number of goals scored because in this type of tournament, the goal differential is huge. And we knew Sweden, who was also in our group, we were going to be fighting for 1 and 2 position in our group. So we have to score more goals than Sweden was going to score against them. And we didn't know at that point how many goals Sweden would score. So you've got to take advantage of every opportunity.
How much of this was just another example of women athletes getting treated differently in basically just about everything?
Yeah, I mean, you see it every day, and I think this is no different for sure. I mean, seeing our women grow like this and just being able to put up those numbers just, I think, shows the strength of women's athletics and say, hey, I'm here and I'm here to stay, rather than, if a men's team does that, would it be different? I mean, you don't know, and we have no room to really say this would be here, and it hasn't happened. But I think it's pretty special that the women's team was able to do this and was able to showcase what they are capable of and show those numbers. And whether it was a men's team or not, I think it's special regardless.
I think so often, we tell female athletes, be emotional but not too emotional. Play great soccer, but don't celebrate too much, and be strong but not too strong. And I think, this just kind of shows again that just let the women be who they are, and let's not put them down or give them trouble over them showing their own emotions.
So the women's national team is a dominant force in world soccer. I think the team has been in the top 4 of every Women's World Cup since it was first played in 1991, and you've won 3 of the 7. Given all of that, given the performance so far this year, is the team getting the respect it deserves, especially given the men's national team and what is arguably some pretty woeful performances from that side of the equation?
Mm-hmm. That's a good question. I think opens up a lot of discussion because I think the U.S. national team is dominant, is absolutely dominant. They're the best team in the country, and the 23 players who are on that team are the best 23 players in the entire world, in my opinion. And I think the team has brought a lawsuit against U.S. Soccer for equal pay, and I think you also see it just in our society and in the way that we celebrate the women's athletes. That if this was the Men's World Cup and our U.S. men's national team was a dominant force the way our women's team is, the landscape of soccer would look a little bit different in the United States, I believe.
If you'd like to talk soccer with Lori Chalupny-Lawson and Olivia Silverman, you could give us a call at 314-382-8255. You can tweet us at STL On Air or email us at talk@stlpublicradio.org. I guess I want to do a little bit of a thought experiment here with you two ladies. If the attention, the focus, the energy that is dedicated to the men's national team and to men's athletics got turned around and was put towards the women's national team and women's athletics, what do you think that would look like?
I mean, even just thinking about that is just a complete turnaround. I think it would be deserved. I mean, I think it would be there'd be more energy. I mean, more not attendance at games would be huge and crucial. And I think, I'm just getting the chills thinking about it, but I think if the women got the attention they deserve, this, like Lori said, this entire nation, their view on soccer would be completely different. And that's a hard thing to think about. And
you think about the success that the women's national team has had. You think about, what if we had the funding and we had the support that the men's national team has gotten? Oh my gosh, where would we be? It's just, it's hard to even imagine.
And Lori, you have played for the women's national teams, and I know, Olivia, you were on the youth teams. What are the differences in terms of support? And from your perspective, how much better could those teams have been with the support that the men do get? Help us understand a little bit what the men get that maybe you guys don't in terms of support.
It's hard to kind of quantify, I think. I think honestly, what makes this the lawsuit and this equality equation kind of difficult is that we are constantly trying to compare what the men get versus what the women get when the starting points were so vastly different from men's sports and women's sports. And so I think it's really just about giving the women what they deserve and what they just respecting the women's sport at this present time and not necessarily comparing apples to oranges.
You both work with young women, young ladies in coaching soccer. I'm wondering how aware they are of the inequalities that we're talking about here, both in terms of resources, pay, etc. Does it come up? Do they talk about it at all kind of amongst themselves?
I think it varies based off of age. I think definitely the college players, the older high school players are starting to become more and more aware of it and just the reality of it. I had the chance to help coach a player who's a professional player now, and she got kind of dropped into the mix, and it's becoming reality. And then the rest of the teams, you break it down and they start seeing it more and more. But But I think it motivates a lot of people. I think it motivates the next generation to be like, hey, I'm going to be that next Roosevelt, and I want to help make that difference, or I want to be the next this, that, and the other. Like, I think it is definitely being seen, but maybe not always to the extent that it should be seen as.
And as coaches, how do you talk about those inequalities?
Quite honestly, I don't know that that we talk about it a whole lot. I think it's in the public eye now, especially with this lawsuit that the women's team is bringing in. I think that's a big part of why they're doing it, is to raise awareness and kind of make it okay for young girls to fight for equality. But I don't know that it's something that we talk about a whole lot. I think it's something that kind of is an internal struggle and things that we just that we kind of deal with.
And how do you think that the fact that the ratings are up so high now, according to the Wall Street Journal, I think it's going to be like the highest watched in ever. Do you think that'll help? Do you think that kind of helps make the case of, hey, look, we're doing more even than the men's national team?
Yeah, I mean, everything helps at this point. I mean, you go to even talk to men's players, like they're watching, their teams are getting together and watching. Different families are watching. Everyone is watching now. And I think that's huge, just to show what this game can do and how this nation, or how the sport can bring a nation together. And whether it's the women's side or the men's side, it just brings people together. And the fact that the women are finally being watched and having their chance to finally be seen is huge.
And what are you both hearing from the male soccer players that you know within the St. Louis community about this wage equality and other sort of women's athletics equality conversation?
Well, I think it's important that it's not a us versus them conversation, that we're in this together, and it's really it's like I said, it's respect. It's that we're fighting for women. And I think everybody is willing to get in on that battle, to fight for your mothers and your sisters and your friends. So I think that the men in this community and across the nation are on board.
And Olivia, how about for you? If you have conversations or hear from players within the men's game, what are they saying to you about this equality conversation?
I mean, they have been nothing but, like Lori said, nothing but bringing everyone together. And I think, the more people we can get on the same board, the more the merrier. Everyone, like Lori said, there's no divide. We're not trying to divide people. We're trying to bring people together into the sport that we've grown up loving and that everyone else is, in the soccer community has grown up loving. And it's not men's versus women's. It's bringing everyone together just to see the ability of the sport and what the sport can do for people, and bringing equal opportunity to both.
Courtney in St. Louis has a comment about the soccer community. Courtney, go ahead. You're on the air with Lori Chalupny and Olivia Silverman.
Hi. Yeah, I'm a big women's soccer fan, and I was a huge fan of the Athletic Hub back when, I guess that was about 10 years ago, when St. Louis had a professional team. And it was really disappointing when we lost them, and eventually that league did go under. But I was wondering what Lori thought about the support for women's soccer here in St. Louis. We always hear what a soccer town this is, but I'm not a St. Louis native, and at times it's been hard for people to sell me on what a soccer town this is.
Courtney and Olivia, sell St. Louis as a soccer Lori and Olivia, sell St. Louis as a soccer town to Courtney.
Well, first of all, I miss those days of Athletica so much. What a great time, and thinking back to the fans and the support that we had during those days was incredible. We had selling out Soccer Park every weekend, and it was just awesome. And now we've got St. Louis FC. And they're doing really well.
I believe they just beat 2 MLS teams.
Yes. So doing well on the field, but also I think selling really well, getting some sellouts themselves. And so, not having a top-tier professional team in the city, I think is is a tough sell sometimes, and that's why we're really crossing our fingers that this MLS bid comes through, because I'm sure that the city will come together and really support an MLS team in this town.
Olivia, what's your pitch for St. Louis as a soccer town?
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with Lori. And I mean, you look at our colleges, the SLU, Maryville, Lindenwood, all of us coming together, and Wash U even is a phenomenal program. And all of those programs coming together just to build up that community and support, and really building off of these youth programs that we have, and putting our hope and putting our trust and our faith into it, and really just embracing the sport as it comes, and looking forward to the future. I think the future with women, with not just women's soccer, but soccer in general in the city is huge. And having that faith in the back of our head that, you know, the athletic, all of the professional teams, I mean, with that MLS, like, there is light at the end of the tunnel, hopefully. So seeing that light and trusting that light and building off of that energy and faith with the sport. So.
Courtney, what do you think? Have we sold you?
No, yeah, I mean, I really want to see soccer do well, you know, in St. Louis for sure. I do really miss having that top-flight women's team here, and getting to see, you know, people who played in the World Cup, people like Lori. That was awesome, and they were so wonderful to the fans and to the Cleats Army, and, you know, it would be awesome if we were able to get that back. I don't know if that's something that's been pitched as part of the MLS deal or not, but yeah, I mean, I definitely want to see soccer succeed here in this town, and I know these guys are doing a lot to help that, and I really appreciate that.
Courtney, thank you very much, and we're keeping our fingers crossed that MLS will pan out as well here, and we should learn that soon.
Let's get MLS here, and then I'll be on them about a WPSL team. You better believe it.
Lori Chalupny-Lawson and Olivia Silverman, we want to thank you both very much for joining us today. This is St. Louis on the Air on St. Louis Public Radio, 90.7 KWMU.
Support comes from the Missouri Forest Products Association. Missouri produces wood pallets, railroad ties, white oak barrels, hardwood floors, and more. Details on the variety of products made in the state are at choosewood.com.
St. Louis Public Radio's The Gateway gives you the day's news first thing every weekday morning. From the ever-evolving relationship between St. Louis City and County to developments in the Missouri and Illinois state capitals and reports from our correspondents in Rolla and the Metro East. We put it all in a roughly 10-minute package with clarity and context. Download The Gateway wherever you get podcasts.